Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be making a birthday card for my mom, and I actually purchased this stamp set just because I've been in love with it for a couple years now, but the more I looked at the sentiments and just the vibe of it, I know that this is the perfect card for my mom, and I'll tell you a little story why in just a bit. So this is a beautiful stamp set called High Five from Lawn Fawn. Everything that I'm using to create this card will be linked down below. And I love this. I think we're gonna have fun creating this sweet card. So we are going to open this up. I have just been in the mood to color. It's one of those things that really relaxes me. So we have just had a fun weekend in the sun, and now I'm just going to end the weekend by doing some relaxing coloring. All right, so I'm gonna grab my little mini Misty, and I'm also going to grab some, just one here, there we go. One sheet of 80-pound cardstock, just like that. Okay, I know I definitely want to do the little beehive and the banner. That's super cute. And of course, I'm going to do some bumblebees. So let's open this up. We have the hive. We have the banner. Okay. And then we have, I might do these fun little swoop-de-swoops. You know, let me do it this way so you can see. Let's see, I think it was this one. But I might actually do that on the physical card base if I decide to go that route. Okay, so hive, banner. Oh, how cute that you can do little conversation boxes or conversation bubbles, and you do have the little die cut for that too. Sometimes what die cuts I have or that are included really help me decide what I want to do, because I'm not a fan of fussy cutting. Okay, I just clung those to the back there, so let's get those put back down. And giving myself plenty of room to use the coordinating dies. Okay, so I want to do 3 bumblebees because I am one of 3 girls. So there was one with the little party horn, one with a hat, and then maybe just one other little random one. Okay, I think that's probably it for the little icons. Okay. So I'm going to, again, do some coloring with alcohol markers. So I want to make sure I use an ink when I stamp that plays well with alcohol markers. If you don't use something that's alcohol marker friendly, then it can smear once you start coloring with your marker. And because these are brand new stamps to me, I am going to condition them, which just means taking off that coating that's on the stamps from being created. Okay. That will allow you to stamp them out really well the first time. So for me, a really good ink for alcohol markers is this Memento ink. This is actually the only ink I've ever used. I have found that it works amazing, so it's one of those things where if it's not broke, I'm not going to try anything different. Okay, so let's press that down. Okay, I'm gonna double stamp that just to get really good contrast. And because I'm double stamping this, I will allow this some time to dry really well. And I usually go ahead and double stamp these, and then I worry about, well, not worry, but then I go focus on what colors and color combinations I want to do. Okay, that really made a fun little difference. These are so cute. Okay, so here is the final little stamped images. We have 3 bumblebees, a hive, and then the cute little banner. I just love that. Okay, let's go ahead and clean off the stamps. Okay, and I'm just using a mild baby wipe. I wanted to address that because I've actually had many people ask lately, so that must be a pretty common question. You can use whatever you wish. I have used a mild baby wipe just because I figure, this might sound silly, but I figure if it is gentle enough for baby skin, it's definitely going to be gentle enough for a stamp. So that's why I've used them. I've used little squeegees and chamois in the past, and I just do not like them. So the baby wipe is the winner for me. All right, I'm gonna place all of my stamps right back onto the sheet. That way I don't misplace them. Them being clear, it makes it very easy to do. All right, and now again, I double stamped my images, so I'm gonna allow those quite some time to dry while I select my marker color combinations. Okay, so I have my hive here. I think I'm going to use the YR21 and the Y32. And don't worry, I will go ahead and list every marker color that I use, so don't get all nervous and feel like you need to write down everything right now. You can always go back into the description box below the video and check out all the marker colors and make your list if you want to do it the same way I do. Okay, so that's the hive, which will also lend well to the little bumblebees, so we'll do that. And then for their wings, I'm going to do, let's do BOO and then BOOOO. Okay, it's a nice light blue, so that'll be really pretty on the wings to kind of do a fun clear look. Okay, and then the banner, I know I'm going to drape that on this cute little hive, and I know the hive is going to already be yellow, so I think I'm going to do a rainbow, but I'll skip the yellow just because I already have that present in the scene. I'll have that here, 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 here. So this is going to be a very yellow scene as is. So instead, I'm going to do, let's do one marker for each banner instead of doing two and blending, because it's so tiny. I think I'll do one. So for my pink, I'm going to do R21, and I think I'll use that, let me check. Yeah, I'll use that for the cheeks of my cute little bumblebees as well. And while I'm thinking of it, I'm gonna grab a gel pen because I wanna do some accents for some highlights. Okay, so again, skipping the yellow, I'm gonna do a pink for the red. For the second banner, I'll do an orange, and that will be YR00. It's actually called powder pink, but I really like it as a nice sherbet orange. I think it's really pretty. And skipping the yellow, so we'll go right to green, and I'll do G20. I like more pastel looks, so that's why you'll see some really light colors for my selections. And then instead of a blue, I think I'll go for a teal. So I won't use these again, but I will do, how about BG10? Yeah, let's do BG10. And then I'll do a purple. So the purple, I'll do this VOOO. Okay. And I think that should be good to go. And then I will pull those colors in once more to do things like the party hat and the cute little, what do you call this? Please tell me. I always mess it up because I don't know. I guess we didn't do a lot of those growing up. Well, or maybe we did, but I don't do a lot of them at current day. They're just way noisy. Okay, so what we'll do is start with the hive. And I think to start out, again, we'll do the Y32, YR21, and the YR21 is my darker of the two. So what I'm going to do first is the inside of the hive, and I'm actually going to do it all in this YR21. Again, my darker one, because I want it to kind of be a nice shaded dark area in there. And I'm gonna come back and do some more shading with this same color in just a minute. I'm just gonna let that kind of sit for a moment. Okay, then let's focus on the all over color for the hive, and I'm going to do Y32. So I'm just gonna kind of come through. Looks like this is nice and dry. And I spin my cardstock when I color, but it's just because, I don't know, it's the way that I kind of position my marker in cardstock that makes it feel like I'm gonna color in the lines, if that even remotely makes sense. Okay, all over color. Again, this is my lighter of the two, Y32. Okay, and then with the darker one, I'm kind of focusing on two areas at once here. YR21 again, I'm going to bring in some shading here. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to come through and do maybe this left side little scallops. And then I'll probably do under, or I guess this bottom line. And I thought I would bring in my lighter shade to blend this out, but I kind of like how the color is sitting there right on top. I think that's actually really pretty. I like that contrast. So I guess I could play around with blending that out, but I actually kind of think maybe just a really, yeah, that actually does look nice. Just a soft blend. But I want to preserve some of those highlights. Okay, so that looks good. Let's bring a little bit more shading with, is this my darker color? Yeah, Wire 21. I'm going to bump this up just a tad more on the inside. Okay, and then I might just bump up once more on the bottom. This is just adding contrast. Okay, and maybe even along the side. Okay, oh, I really like that. That's pretty. So let's do the rest of the bees. Those should be nice and dry by now. So the hive is done. I'm gonna come in and just add some color with Y32. So I'm actually doing my lighter color right now. All over color on their sweet little face. I probably won't do too much shading on the little striped areas like I'm coloring right now. It's kind of a small little surface area, but I can try to do something. But I'll add some shading to their little faces. There's more room there to play. Okay, so growing up, obviously you know my name is Bethany, but my mom named all of us with bee names. So my sisters and I all have bee names. And so growing up, we were always called the bees. And so I, again, saw this stamp set and loved it for all these other reasons until I was sitting down this evening and thinking about making a card for my mom. And I thought that is so appropriate. She's gonna love that. She always got like bumblebee things growing up, because she had 3 girls, the 3 bees. We were always called the 3 bees. So I think she'll get a kick out of this. Okay, just bringing back in my lighter shade to blend some of this out. And I think those bees are pretty cute and done. All right, I'm done with my yellow because again, I'm skipping yellow on the banner. So those 2 are done. Let me remove those. And let's move on to, we might as well finish up the bumblebees by doing their wings, or for the most part. So I have B0000 and B00. So I'll grab the lighter of the 2 and add all over color. Actually, you know, I might not bring in, let me do some test over here. I might not bring in that darker color. Well, let me try maybe on 1. Let's see. Oh, just a little bit maybe. Okay. Yeah, that's cute. I was gonna say, I don't want it to be too dark because this is kind of I want it to be more translucent. Oops. in tone. Just to kind of mimic a clear. That way the cardstock's not white. Okay. There we go. Whoop. And there we go. Okay, I might go back in with my lighter shade, put that away, and just maybe soften that. Yeah, that looks good. It adds just a touch more blue. Oh, those are so cute. Okay, I want to keep the blue around just in case I decide to add anything on the hat. Actually, no, I'll bring in other colors. Okay, let's start with the banner now. And this will be brought back in this R21. I'm going to bring this back in to do the cheeks in just a little bit too. So I'm going to do all over color And I'm actually going to use one marker, like I said, for each color. So I'm going to give them each one coat, and then I'll come back in and add some more, just to allow that to dry a little bit so that when I add the second coat for the highlight, or I'm sorry, not the highlight, the shadow, when I add that second color, it doesn't sink into the background as much. Okay, it sits right on top instead of going into the background. Oh, that's cute. Oops, sorry, I want to keep these open because I'm going to go right back through and add more. Okay, and finally, this really pale purple. Oh my gosh, my mom's gonna love this. She's going to love this. Okay, while I have the purple out, what do we want to do? Oh, I gotta think through the birthday hats. Okay, let's do one. First things first. Let's see if we can add, again, just along maybe the left side, just a little bit of shadow. It's very slight on camera, but in person I actually do appreciate the contrast that's being created there. Let's give it some depth. And finally, this little one. Okay, and I think I stayed in the lines pretty well. All right. Keeping this out. I think I'm going to put the orange away because it's very similar to the yellow, so I'm not going to add any orange to my bumblebees for the little party horn or the hat. But I think I will add, I like how pink is a very contrasting color to the other two colors we have present. So let's do, should we do a rainbow again? Actually, that could be cute. Oh gosh, hold on. Maybe I will do that. Kind of bring in, that could be really cute. I'm not gonna get a full rainbow, but we'll have fun getting most of the colors. Oh, that is very fun. Okay, and then I'm gonna do pink on this only because I know it will pop more. I don't wanna do the green or the teal because I already have that hue with the wings. Okay, now there's not a lot of opportunity for shading, but I will just try to dab a little bit at the base of these for some shadow and dimension, and it's pretty slight. Okay, there we go. So purple can go, and this teal, make sure I got the right ones. Orange can go, and green. And now we'll just finish up by adding cheeks. So R21 for the cheeks. And 2 on this one. And then just 1 here. Oh, those are cute. Okay. My mom is going to love this. I think I will add just another layer for shadow on the banner, just to give it a little bit more now that it has dried. And again, if you give it time to dry, you can allow that color, even though it's the same color, to sit on top of the other color and not just sink into the background. Okay, that is where we are at with the coloring. And then I'm gonna add some highlights as well. This is just a size 8 gel pen. And I'm gonna add highlights around, let's see, maybe around this right side. I think that's cute. I don't know, I wonder if I could just add a dot. Can you see that? You can. To the banner. Just a dot. And then on their little heads, maybe around the top, the wings in the little lighter area, which That is kind of hard to see. Okay. But, you know, it adds just a little something. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to trim this down. I'm going to bring in my new, let's zoom the other way out here. And sorry for the sniffles. I feel like I apologize nonstop for sniffling, but we have yet to catch just another cold. But it's summertime. It always confuses me. Let me know if you catch a summertime cold, because for the last probably 4 years, we have been catching a summertime cold. It's just been nonstop. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in my new Scout machine. So cute. And I know I want to do, let's see, I'm just looking at the base to see what my sandwich is, because no matter how many times I use it, I always forget. So all I want to do is just do a die cut. So I need my A, B, and C. Okay, plus my cardstock and my dies. So I just want to make sure this is going to fit. It will. I'm going to grab some scissors, trim that down. Okay, and then let's go ahead and start adding all of our little dies. So here they are. I love the colors here. This is so summery and bright. Okay, so let's grab also these little wire snips. They really help to trim apart the dies without having all of the sharp little tabs on them. So I start by just kind of getting them loosened up a little bit, and then you can trim them apart. Okay, so I'll just go through and I'll find all of the little coordinating dies and place them accordingly. And we'll tape those down just so that they stay nice and aligned as we send them through the die cut machine. Okay, I'm trying to find, sometimes it is so hard to see which one is which. Where are you? Okay, are you this way? Let's see, I make sure, oh, maybe I didn't get the right one here. Oh, this one goes, that would be the problem. I didn't even have the right one lined up. Okay, so then you are there. So I actually fell in love with this stamp set. I think it was 2 years ago. I was traveling with my family. We were traveling to Tennessee for a fun trip in the summertime when they released this. And I remember watching videos of people just creating with it, and I wanted it so badly. And 2 years went by. I just kind of had to, I don't know if I was thinking about it for that long or just wishing for it, or I'm not sure. I've been so good at just shopping my craft space and not purchasing. That probably was why I was like pushing the brakes on buying things. But I'm just so excited because when I see this, I remember that trip because I just went down a rabbit hole of watching what everybody was doing with this stamp set. And now it's my turn to play. Okay. Everything is taped into place. I have my cutting plates that are needed for this cut. And here we go. So many of you told me after I unboxed this cutie little machine that you had purchased one as well. Maybe a different color, but this seemed like a very popular item that came out. So I was very excited about how many people bought this little cute machine. All right, let's just pop these out gently. This is my favorite part, is revealing all of the little beautiful cuts. They're so cute. And then we'll get all the little bees out. Then I need to figure out what I'm gonna do for the actual card. Have some fun with that. Okay, we got our banner and the last little bumblebee. Those are cute. All right, so let's make sure these don't get lost and let's have fun with creating the back panel. Okay, some water, more cardstock coming in. I am going to do my favorite background panel ever. It's just my go-to, and I want to love this card as much as I've loved my previous little creation, so I'm gonna create something fun for my mom with the same technique that I've been doing a lot lately. So because I'm going to do some flicking of paint, I'm going to remove all of my little colored pieces because trust me, this gets everywhere. It gets everywhere. So I have a 80-pound cardstock panel, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And before I do any coloring or painting, actually, let's bring this back in. I think I'm going to actually take a 1/4 inch off the right and left. So should I do that? Actually, no. Should I do a 1/2 inch? Yeah. 1/2 inch off the top. 1/2 inch off there. Okay, so 3 3 3/4 by 5. Is that correct? 5 and 3 3/4. Okay, that's my final dimension. And the reason I'm going smaller than I usually do is because these little die cuts are pretty small. So I want to kind of bring the focal point in a little bit. And I'll grab some tape to just place that down. And I'm just bringing in a paintbrush. I have some water here. And I'm just going to wet down the panel, kind of in this little center area, just a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to use this powder ink. I think that a nice blue is so pretty in contrast to a yellow. So I'm going to water this down quite a bit, but I just wanted a nice pale blue. Hopefully this is pale enough. Ooh, you know what? That might be, oh, that could be good. I was thinking that's a little too blue, but I wonder if I can soften that a little bit. Let's see. No, that probably will work actually. I was hoping it could look kind of like the sky. Actually, that is looking really good. That's softer. I felt like that first little bit was a little bit harsh and then it toned down a little bit. Okay, so I'm doing a little bit of a circular pattern, but I don't want it to be complete circle, so I'm just adding some little imperfections to the side there. Okay, I really like that. And to give us an idea, yes, that's very pretty. Okay, I just want to make sure we had a lot of that circle surrounding. All right, that should be good. Now I'm gonna let this dry for just a minute. In fact, I'll heat set it with my heat tool. That way we can continue by adding the spatters. Just like when I was talking about coloring, if you let it dry, in this case it was the marker, in this case it is the watercolor. If you let it dry, then the next layer will sit on top of it. And the next layer I'm gonna do is just flicking paint. And I want those to be nice circles. And if I were to do it now, it would just kind of, I don't know, it melts into the background. It's not a nice crisp circle of flicked paint. And it looks a little bit messy, but it doesn't look bad. It's just kind of what you want to do. In fact, that's almost about dry. Actually, I'm not even going to heat set that because it is practically dry. I've just been blowing on it. Another thing I wanted to mention is you can use a watercolor cardstock. However, the next thing I want to do, it's one of my favorite things to do to kind of create the focal point of the dimension on the die cuts. I like to take my stamps and then put the sentiment right on the card base. And again, that just makes it so that my panel is just kind of nice and complementary and flat, but then I bring in dimension in other ways. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's just the way I prefer to do it. So I'm naturally letting this dry, or I guess not naturally if I'm fanning it, but I'm not going to bring in any additional heat source to dry that. Okay, that should be good. Now, bring in some more water just to kind of water this down. And then we'll add some paint to the top. Okay. A little bit more. See how that just kind of pooled? Now, it actually kind of looks neat because it looks really watercolory, but that's an example of, you know, it coming into contact with something that was too wet. Okay, and and that's how I want that to look. So I'll bring back, let's wash this off and take this out. And then I'll just bring my baby wipe back in and clean this part up. Okay, let's let this further dry. I'll clean up all of my little paint splatters. They're not hard to see on camera, but my goodness, when I go to clean at the end of the day, just is everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna remove this tape, set this to the side, and let's build our card base while this dries. Isn't that pretty? Again, it's something that's so simple and tends to be a little bit repetitive in the cards I create, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you find something that you really like, do it over and over, because every time I make a card, the stamp set is different, the color of the background is different, and so while the technique might be a little bit repetitive, the card looks completely different because of the supplies I'm using. Okay, I have my score tool here, and this time, instead of 80-pound cardstock, I have 110-pound cardstock. I have this at 11 by 4 1/4, and I want this to be a top folding A2 card. So again, this dimension is 11, so half of 11 would be 5 1/2. Place my score mark there, and then it will fold at the top and open from the bottom. So there is that. There we go. So top folding, just like so. This is the type and orientation of card that I do pretty much 100% of the time. I think it looks like a boutique card or just something you'd find at a really nice and expensive card shop. So I just think it's just really chic looking, and that's why I do this orientation pretty much exclusively. All right, look at that nice margin. So this was, again, 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So we have a nice quarter inch margin around the whole card, which is super pretty. All right, I'm gonna add foam tape to the back of this panel and place it right down on our card base. And I'll grab a non-stick scissors. In fact, though, ironically enough, I need to clean them off. I was using these with some Dollar Tree foam tape recently, and that stuff is just beyond sticky that even the non-stick scissors were like, what in the world is this level of stickiness you have? They just were not, they obviously they did good, but I definitely had some residue, which I normally do not have. Just got that a little bit long. Okay. Because this is really narrow foam tape, very narrow, I'll add 4 strips of this right to the back. And this also will help just really straighten out this panel from adding the water, because that can warp it just a little bit. But the foam tape is the secret for getting that placed right back down in a nice straight manner. Okay, let's put that away. And then I'll peel these up. I'm so proud of myself. I've been so forgetful to use this desktop trash can. I just keep it in a drawer just to tuck it away when I'm crafting, or when I'm, when I'm not crafting, just so my craft room stays nice and just clean. But then on the flip side, when it's time to craft, I forget to bring it out. So today I remembered, and it's making a world of difference to actually be continuously cleaning up after myself while I'm crafting. I'm going to notice that when I'm done with this card, and cleanup takes barely any time. Okay. So there is the panel right onto the card, and now we can have fun. Oh, you know what I did? I forgot to stamp the sentiment. Darn, darn, darn. Okay, you know what though? If I was going to mess that up on any card, it'd be this one, because it'll be okay. These are nice, and let's see how they take on. Let's see, let's grab, gosh darn. Okay, you see how they have a nice rectangular look to them? Sometimes stamp sets are very flowy. I'm certain that I can stamp these out and cut these out. Even though I'm not a fan of fussy cutting, I am confident that I can do that. So let's pause. Darn, okay, that's okay. This is getting me out of my comfort zone with trimming things. let's get all of these here. Okay, and bring out my Misty again. Let's grab that scrap piece from earlier that we trimmed off. And I want to do Happy Bee Day, and then I want to say to the queen bee, right? Our mom is the queen bee to all of us little bees. So I'm gonna set these apart quite a bit because I want them to be, ooh, you know what I could do though is to help myself out. I could add them to this nice straight edge so that I don't have to cut as much. Does that make sense? I might still have to a little bit, but I am going, to the queen bee. I'm gonna try to work smart and not hard. See how I'm just gonna use this straight edge? And let's see if this works. It might be a famous silly that I do. Okay. There we go. And I'm not going to be coloring over this, but I'm just going to use the same black ink just for consistency. If I used it on my stamps, I'll use it for the rest of the card and all of its elements. Okay, Happy Bee Day to the queen bee. Oh goodness, hold on, wash my hands. Cute. Oh, that's gonna work out in my favor, I think. Wash my fingers off really quick. I got ink on there. I don't want to transfer it over to my project. Okay, once more, because I double stamped my images, I'll do the same to my sentiment. Consistency with the contrast. Very nice. Okay, now I could do my paper trimmer. That looks very good, very sleek. I could do my paper trimmer to trim those out, or I could do just some scissors. I think I'll use scissors, and I think I'm gonna use my big scissors because then I can just do one fell swoop like this. Okay. And where I place them, it's going to be pretty white on white. So if it's not completely perfect, then that looks good. Then it's gonna be very forgiving because it's going to pretty much just kind of melt into the background. Okay, let's do this way first. Okay, and then the ends. Okay. All right, those look great. Save this big scrap. And back to figuring out placement here. Okay. All right, let's zoom in here. And here are the elements. Bumblebees and banners. Now I'm thinking what I could do is do maybe something a little off kilter. Happy Bee Day to the queen bee, maybe something like that. But let's see. Just maybe for something fun, or I can come through and just do it nice and straight. But I know I want to do something like this. And then we'll just have these little cuties. Probably one kind of interacting with the hive. And then one up above. That would be cute. And then we'll kind of fill in any visual gaps, or if there's anything off balance, then we'll fill that in with some sequins. So do we want to do that, or do we want to do, I kind of like this, it nice and straight on. Okay, so let's leave those there, and I'm going to work on this little element here. Okay, I'm going to do a nice thick foam square. I have enough room for 3 there with this bigger size. And this is where that desktop trash can is going to really make it easier after I'm done creating this, if I can clean up as I go. Okay, and let's grab some tweezers. Okay, there's the little hive. And bring out the liquid glue so that we can do the banner. I want the banner to just be glued right down to the hive. There you go. Let's add a little dot on each little banner piece. And I kind of like it a little off kilter like that. Very cute. The little bows are cute on the end. Okay. And then I had this little cutie interacting. So I'm going to grab the smaller little foam square. We have the big, we have the small, and I'm going to place it right on the little bee's bum there. And maybe even, got those non-stick scissors again, maybe even trim one in half and put one on the wings as well. Okay, so let's do this. And the rest I'm going to add liquid glue to, because then, let's see, this little piece will go onto the card base, but the rest of it is going to be overlapping on that hive. And wherever there's glue and it doesn't, meet up with this hive, it's just going to dry. That's cute. Okay. And then the rest of them will just have that smaller foam square. So we'll do a couple on each one. Okay. And the tweezers are one of my best friends when doing cards, because I feel like when you're working with things that are this small, your fingers can really easily get in the way visually, and then you can't really see if you like something or not. But when you can remove your fingers from the situation and just kind of keep it about the elements. Let's see, I actually like that to, let's bring that down a little bit. Interact a little bit with that hive as well. And then this one will just be floating up there a little bit. Okay. 1 and 2. Okay, and this one will be here. Super cute. All right, now in terms of, oh yeah, I was gonna say, I think these are thin enough. I have really nice foam strips, but I have so many of these foam squares that I need to dwindle them down. They're everywhere. So we'll place those on the back of the little sentiments. Again, I'll use my tweezers just to help me get this all lined up here. Oops, if I can. There. Happy Bee Day. Okay, to the queen bee. And once more with tweezers. Nudge it over a little bit. All right, let's finish this off with some embellishment. I think we might bring in the gold discs. I think these will lend really well. We could do also this aura. This is like an opalescent one. Oh, that would be fun too. It's so playful for like just summer and birthdays. Gosh, you can't go wrong. I initially wanted the gold discs, so I'm going to do that. I think my mom will really like that. But this one I will link as well if you liked that. That way you have that option as well. Okay, what I want to do is do 1, 2, 3, and then just to tie in the sentiment, I'll do 2 down here. And I'll grab, let's see, let's put a few out here so we can see the size. Let's see, let's do 1, 2, and 3. Oh, I love the gold. It lends well to that powder blue. And then even though we have a lot of yellow going on, it just really, I don't know, that looks really good together. Kind of keeping up with that tone. And then this little deal down here, just to make sure that that sentiment is all tucked in there and included. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead, clean these up, and then I'll add my little background stamp. And then I'll have to purposefully not post this video until after my mom's birthday because I don't want her to see it. I don't want her card to be ruined. All right, grabbing that memento one more time and my stamp. And there we go. All right, here's the final look for that birthday card. I love how that turned out. I'm so excited that I'm able to create this. And again, because I have been wanting this stamp set for a couple years now, so it was really fun to have my turn with it. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this. I will link everything that I used, all the supplies down below in the description box. And until next time, have a happy summer and I'll see you in the next video.